So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert, if this is your first time tuning in. So today we have another good one, another rod and reel combination review, this time on a Penn Pursuit 4. I have here with me a Penn Pursuit 2, which is the older style. We'll kind of do some close-ups here in a little bit of both rods. Now, real quickly before I forget, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on this video if you enjoy this type of content. Helps me out as a creator, helps to reach a bigger audience, and helps to get these videos out to other people. These rods and reels will be down below in the description if you want to read the specs, see more pictures, or purchase this rod. Everything will be linked down below in the description, so feel free to check it out and and purchase it if you're interested. The video is not sponsored. This isn't a sponsored video. I'm not sponsored by Penn. We do pay full price for these rods. But Penn, if you are watching and you want to sponsor, give me a shout. All my information is down below. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So here we have the Penn Pursuit 4. And I guess I'll kind of show you the Penn Pursuit 2, the older style. That way you guys can see what the older style used to look like and what it looks like today. So this is a 7,000. No, this is an 8,000 as well. So this is the older style. Obviously, it's a little older, a little bit more beat up and worn. But this is a Penn Pursuit 2. A little bit heavy, but overall not too bad. Everything's still intact. Everything still works. Had that rod for I don't even know how many years. Tons of years. Now this is the Penn Pursuit 4. We'll do some close-ups of it real quickly. That way you guys can see the difference between the older models and the newer models. We will read off some of the specs off the rod, and we'll kind of talk about how the rod operates, how it feels, and all of that good stuff. So the first thing that really, I guess, catches my attention is the glossiness. If you watch the previous videos, like a matte black on the Wrath, the Penn Wrath, this one, the Penn Pursuit, has a glossy tone to the reel itself. Similar to the Penn Wrath 2, this one also has a solid piece for the eyes. So it's not like a little plate, it's a solid piece. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. This is a solid piece for the eyes, so you shouldn't have any issues. They should, the line should run off of these eyes really, really smooth and comfortable and not fray the line any. These are like a chrome style eyes. So again, I haven't seen any of these on any Penns more recently, unless you're doing some of the more saltwater reels. I have seen it on those, more of the different style, not really on the spinners. But yeah, going on to the reel itself, I guess let me go ahead and read you guys the specs on the rod. So the rod itself is a 10-foot heavy. It's a moderate to fast action. Now for mono, it says 20 to 40 pound mono. For braided, it's 30 to 65 pound braided. Lure size is a 2 to 6 ounce lure. These are all recommendations on the rod itself. So moving on to the reel. The reel itself is a pretty stout, pretty beefy reel compared to the other ones that I have seen, and the other on the Wrath. The bell itself is a lot thicker. This one has a thicker bell. It still has a solid click, but it's also, this little wire bell is a lot thicker and looks a little bit more durable, but we'll see, time will tell. Compared to the other one, this one has the HT100. So one thing you're going to notice if you keep up with Penn rods is the handle is very different compared to the other style. This reminds me more of like a old school, younger generation Penns when they were first coming out with Penns. That's what it kind of reminds me of, is just an older style, older model handle. It is like a chrome, I wouldn't say aluminum, it's a little heavier than aluminum, like a slight, I'm sure it probably has some aluminum mixes in there, but it's a light metal, I guess is the best way to put it. The handle itself is circular. I prefer the egg-shaped handles. I just feel like they give me a better grip. But this is cool too. I can obviously still reel in a fish, not a big deal. But if you're asking me for my preference, that's my preference. But still overall good rod. The weight of the rod is a little bit heavier than the Penn Wraths that have come out. But if this is what you like, then you're gonna like a little bit heavier rod. You know, this is gonna be your choice. On the wiggly jiggly test here, those of you guys who shop at stores and wiggle the rods around, this is what it looks like. I guess it doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle jiggle. Let me drop this down a little bit. So this is my dad's rod, actually. I'm just doing a review on it. So he's the one to put the little closed deal on there. So here's that wiggly jiggly test. You know, it has a little bit more now that we moved the weight. You could probably still get a good fling on it. I would say it's a little bit stiffer than the Wrath. Personally, I think it's a little bit stiffer. I think it's just also the material that they use on these. That one's a little bit more flexible and has more of a catapulting action. The Wrath versus this one, the Penn Pursuit. But if this is your style, if you like a stiffer rod, this is probably it for surf fishing or for anyone who wants to just use a rod for longer casting. This is it. I guess for what's currently available on the market from Penn. Now again, moving back to some of these specs on the reel itself, we will kind of discuss that right now. So for mono, you're looking at 20-pound test, 340 yards, 25-pound test, 310 yards, 30-pound test, 230 yards. And for braided, you're starting at 50 pounds, 475 yards, 65 pounds, 390 yards, 80 pounds, 345 yards. And that's it for what is written on the reel itself. Superline spool. So it does give you the max drag is 25 pounds on the machine itself, on the reel itself. I'm gonna have to fix this thing real quick. All right. So this is the rod. Obviously has some foam inserts. These are pretty standard traditional foam inserts. Nothing fancy about these little foams. But overall, it's a solid rod. I guess something I forgot to mention is the gear ratio. So the gear ratio is a 5-3-1. Let me see if I can find the bearings. Right here. Bearings is a 4+1 bearing system. And again, the gear ratio is 5-3-1. So that is going to wrap up this video. Again, this is a little bit heavier rod, a little bit beefier, more stout, not as flexible rod. But if that's your style, if that's what you like, then yeah, it's a good rod for you if that's what you like. I personally prefer a little bit more flexibility, but still have some decent pulling power. But still not a bad rod. I'd still use it, still fish with it. Why not, right? It's a solid rod. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, all this will be linked down below in the description if you are interested and checking it out. Everything will be down below. Until next time, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.